The main obstacle you'll face in sales is not your customer, your boss, your product, the economy, or your marketing team. It's yourself. If you don't sort out your mindset, you'll always be average. I know from experience, although I've now closed deals worth millions of dollars, I've also had terrible quarters, and the common denominator has always been my own BS. If you don't have self-awareness, you will never be a top performer. You'll always look for others to blame when things go wrong. It's your boss's fault for being too demanding. It's the client's fault for not realizing how great the product is. Blame marketing for not providing the perfect content. Now, this attitude comes from the victim mindset, which is blaming everything on everyone else and never on yourself. And look, I get it. I was the same when I first started my corporate career. But then I learned the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I realized I had zero control over my boss, marketing, or the economy. The only thing I could control were my own actions, attitude, and words. Once I did that, my career really kicked off to where I am today, teaching all of you cool kids how to be better salespeople. So, in this series, we'll teach you about the emotions related to your ego that can harm your success in sales and the proactive steps you can take to work in harmony with them. Now, to start with, I'm going to tell you each of them at a high level, and then later on, we'll break them down in more detail. So, here they are. 1, desire, wanting something badly, but at what cost? 2, fear, scared to the point it clouds your judgment. 3, anger and resentment, seeing red and unable to let go. 4, agitation, that anxiety that prevents you from being present. 5, lethargy, sluggishness that justifies the choice of doing nothing. And 6, pride, which prevents you from learning. I think this is the most important module in this course, so please pay attention. We're bringing this full circle here. Our very first module was about the psychology of buyers, and now we need to think about our own mindset. We'll be covering a lot of the same emotions we did in that module, but flipping the script and thinking about how they affect us. The number one thing that will make you successful in sales is not cold calling, discovery, follow-up, LinkedIn, charisma, or anything else. It's actually something that incorporates all of these. It's how you manage your ego. But the goal of this video is not to get rid of your ego. That's actually impossible. Your ego determines your name, your nationality, and most of the things that make you wake up in the morning. But the ego does drive certain behaviors that you have to understand as a salesperson. No emotion related to your ego is good or bad, but it can get you in trouble if it gets out of balance. The most important thing here is self-awareness. Now, most people are not aware when they're feeling fear, anxiety, or desire, as it's living in their unconscious. I'll be open with you that when I first started selling, I did not want to cold call and made all the excuses. But I realized that however much I tried to justify it, it came down to the fact that I was scared. Scared of rejection and ultimately scared of the unknown. Later, I'll be sharing how I overcame that fear. Now, let's start with one emotion that can make or break a salesperson, and that is desire. What do you care more about? Your commission check or helping your customers solve their problems? If it's only your commission check, go somewhere else, watch a different sales training video. Of course, it's okay to be motivated by money. Your commission can help give a nice life to your family. But if that's your only reason, then you will fail. You have to also think about how you are serving your customers constantly. If you don't, you're just another sleazy, pesky salesperson. So when we're talking about commission checks, what are we really talking about here? We're actually talking about desire. Now, desire for success can fuel competition and enable you to be a top performer in your team. And that's also why a lot of top performing sellers I coach are former athletes, as they have that real competitive spirit. But what about when that desire is so inflated that you care more about hitting your numbers than helping your customers? That's when it becomes toxic. So here's an example of that in practice from someone who emailed me. Hey Michael, I'm sure you're busy and I've left a few messages. Would it make any sense to jump on a short call to talk about the differences between what you're using now and my technology? If you're not the right person to speak with about the tools, can you point me in the right direction? So as you can see here, lots of I, me in this. But what can you tell me about myself from this? Absolutely nothing, which says it all. This person does not care about me, but only about themselves and what they're selling. So what's the solution here? Curiosity. Your curiosity for your clients, your market, your company is the best way to stop thinking about your own desires. In our buyer psychology module, you may remember the story of Alec McNeice, the best salesperson I've ever bought from. He didn't have preconceived ideas about Colombia, but was genuinely curious about why I lived there. If you haven't watched that module yet, check it out to hear the full story. Now, before we move on to the next video about fear, pause this video and think about what are your desires in your job, what's good about them and what's bad. and what are some antidotes to help you overcome the negative parts. Write them on a piece of paper. That's the end of this free video, but if you'd like to have unlimited access to the full course and watch the rest of the video, including how to overcome fear and anxiety in sales, you can sign up in the link below.